Namaste, friends. My name is Karen, for those of you that do not know me. This is going to be a 1 hour, 60-minute yoga alignment flow class. I'd like to give a shout out to my excellent School of Jiu-Jitsu girls, ESJJ. I miss you guys so much, and I'm so happy we have the opportunity to connect like this. Better than nothing, for sure. So grab a mat, grab a carpet, grab whatever you've got. If you happen to have yoga blocks, you can use them. I will give modifications so you actually don't need them. They're helpful if you have them. If you have a yoga strap or a belt or a household towel works for a couple stretches, have that nearby as well. Let's move and breathe. So hop on your mat. And we're going to start in child's pose. So rest your head and find a comfortable position for your arms. And if your head doesn't comfortably touch the floor here, you guys consider stacking your forearms, placing your forehead on your forearms. And if child's pose is just not comfortable, then lie on your back and hug your knees into your chest. So again, forehead's down, arms rest by your side. And let's just bring our awareness to our breath. So close your eyes, and let your head rest, and see if you can shift your breath in and out your nose. And notice the length of your breaths. So start by counting your breaths. Count the length of your inhales, the length of your exhales. And do that for a few cycles of breath. So in child's pose, those of you guys joining, just breathing in and out the nose, working with some Ujjayi breath. Count the length of your inhales, count the length of your exhales, and see if you can lengthen your breath. So whatever number you come up with, add a few seconds onto your inhale, a few seconds onto your exhale, so you're actively lengthening your breath. And then notice every time you guys, your mind goes somewhere other than the breath, because that's what it does. And bring it back. So you'll notice over and over again the mind wanders away from this moment, away from the attention on the breath, and goes somewhere else. And you just gently bring it back to the next inhale or exhale, and continue to breathe in and out your nose. And try to deepen your breath as well. So I don't think it's that hard to actually breathe deeply. I think what's hard is to pay attention to the breath. So bring your awareness back over and over again and deepen your breath. Feel the breath in the belly, and the breath in the chest, the breath in the side body, the back body, the whole torso, with every breath filling up so deep and full, like a balloon that's about to pop. And allow your exhales to be complete. So the best you can, in and out the nose, long, deep, smooth, and possibly even rhythmic breaths. So the breath does a couple things. It keeps us present, ideally. And then it also acts as a barometer to how far we move into the postures, into the asanas, right? So you're going to do the poses the best you can today without losing the quality of the breath. And if you find you're straining in the breath at any point in time, just modify. I'll give tons of modifications. And so do the best you can without stressing out. I'm sure you all have enough of that. So we're here to let all that go for a moment, at least for an hour. So let's start in child's pose. And let's extend the arms out in front of us and do extended child's pose. So your forehead's on the mat, the arms are straight. Really spread the palms, spread the fingers, and lift the elbows and forearms. So you're pushing with the hands a little bit. You want to feel the hips rebound back towards the heels. And then when you're ready, make your way up onto all fours. So take your hands right underneath your shoulders and your knees right underneath your hips, and let's move the spine with breath. On an inhale, lift your chest and tailbone up. And on an exhale, round your spine. On an inhale, lift your chest and tailbone up. And on an exhale, round your spine. So you're going to continue like this. You're going to link your breath and movement, not mine, not anybody else's. Just inhale to move. Long, deep, smooth breaths. And exhale to move. Back and forth a few times, moving the spine via breath. Breathing in. And breathing out. A few more like this. Take your time. And then next time you pull the chest forward, really actively slide the shoulders down the back. You're going to tuck your toes under, and we're going to make our way into our first downward dog, so the hips are going to lift. We're going to endeavor to straighten the legs. And that's going to be tough for a lot of us, so you're more than welcome, you guys. If you feel like your spine is kind of round or a lot around, you can bend the knees some, and you can widen the feet some, and often that helps to lengthen the spine. So first off, you want to feel like you're getting length in the spine. And then if you can keep the length in the spine, you can try to straighten the legs as well. And we're going to take about 5 full breaths here in downward dog. So again, be in the posture, be in downward dog, and make the practice about the quality of your breath. So if at any point in time you need to modify by bending the knees, do. If any point in time you need to rest, you can drop your knees and rest in child's pose or any other comfortable position that you choose. And then final breath in downward dog. And on an inhale, we're going to come forward to plank. So take your shoulders directly over your wrists the best you can. And on an exhale, hinge your right back up to downward facing dog. So once again, it's called Vinyasa. We're linking the breath and movement together. On an inhale, come forward to plank, shoulders over wrists. And on your exhale, pike back up to downward facing dog. And let's do that a few more times via your breath. If this seems like too much, if your joints hurt, if you're holding your breath, just drop your knees and do cat-cow, right, what we did previously. And 2 more here. Whether you're on your hands and knees or your planked dog, it's totally your choice. Final one. And then stay in downward dog for a handful of breaths, you guys. So let your head hang completely. And feel what's happening in your arms. So often when we weight bear on the arms, you guys, the shoulders and the chest roll forward. I want you to feel like you can take the upper arm bones and spin them away from the middle. And you might need to bend the elbows a little bit. You might need to bend the knees a little bit to feel like you can get more space in the collarbone and less pressure in the neck, shoulder, and wrist joints. Yeah, take another full breath here. And then gently walk your hands back towards your feet into a forward fold. We're going to clasp the forearms and just let the upper body hang. So if you guys can straighten the legs comfortably and still breathe deeply, you will. If you're holding your breath and creating more tension and stress, then bend your knees a little or a lot. And just allow the upper back and the head and the neck to release. Notice where your awareness is and bring it back to the quality of your breath. And feel the weight bearing on the feet, you guys. Try to feel just as much weight on your toes as your heels. So a lot of us have a tendency to sit the hips back here. I want you to feel like you're standing on the balls of the feet as much as the heels. It almost feels like you're going to do a somersault, and then your belly will lift, and hopefully your head and neck and upper back can release just a little bit more. And then we're going to add a shoulder stretch. So you're going to reach behind you, and you're either going to interlace your hands, and this is not going to work for a lot of us because it just won't feel good. So if this doesn't work, you have the option of using a strap, a belt, and or a towel. And you would just take your prop behind you, take your hands farther apart. And now you're going to feel more of a stretch in the shoulders and again release in the neck. So let the head drop. And take 3 more full breaths in the forward fold and shoulder stretch. Notice when your mind wanders. And bring it back to the next inhale or exhale.
Final breath here, shoulders lift, head and neck releases. And then go ahead and drop the arms, drop the props, and crawl yourself back out to a downward facing dog. And let's take about 5 deep full breaths in downward dog. Again, if you ever need to rest, you guys just drop your knees, take a break whenever. Feel the fingers spread, feel the weight bearing on the whole hand. So often, you guys, in all these weight bearing positions in yoga, we lose the weight bearing on the thumb and first finger. We kind of roll out. Can you push the thumb and first finger down into the floor without letting the shoulders hunch forward? So as you push the first finger and thumb down, you still want to feel the rotation in the arm bone, the external rotation in the arm bone, so the chest is wide. So we're looking to balance out the joints, right? Thumb, first finger down, upper arms roll away from the middle, chest is open. One more full breath here. And then inhale into plank. So same concept here with the arms, you guys. Feel that the upper arm bones are spinning away from the middle, and you're connecting a little more to your triceps and taking some of the pressure out of the wrist and shoulder joint. If you need to modify plank, feel free to put your knees on the mat. We're going to take a deep full breath in, and on the exhale, we're going to lower halfway down to chaturanga. So notice, you guys, my arms are at 90 degrees. You can put your knees on the mat if you need to. My belly's still lifted, my shoulders are still lifted. Take another full breath, hang in there, soften something, and lie all the way down on the mat. So release your toes, so you're pressing the top of the feet into the mat. Keep the lower belly engaged, and let's go into cobra. On an inhale, I'm gonna lift my head and chest up, and on an exhale, I'm gonna roll back down. So you're gonna go as high as you comfortably feel like you're tractioning and creating space, not compression. Inhale, pull forward and up. You can go more if it feels good on your body today. And exhale, roll back down. But lengthen the spine, don't just press. So I don't want you to compress the lower back. Inhale, pull forward. And exhale, down. So moving with breath, you guys, a handful more. So you don't have to be with my rhythm of breath. You're gonna be with your rhythm of breath. And really think, you guys, of the length. Like you're pulling your hands back towards your waist and you're pulling your chest forward. So it feels good on the spine. If you just push, often it feels yucky, like compression in the spine, right? Make it feel good in the spine. Less is more. I think we're all learning that now. Lift your chest and pause. So find your cobra. Feet are still on the floor, you guys. And the feet stay on the floor because you keep the lower belly lifted. And then you're going to take your arms out to the side like airplane wings. And you might stay right here. Keep the lower belly lifted. Right, when you lift, so if we don't want to bend from the lower back, we want to bend from the upper middle back. Belly's lifted, pubic bones pulling into the mat. We're going to go back into that shoulder stretch. So interlace your hands and or grab your prop and lift your chest. 5 full breaths here. So finding space, knuckles go back, chest goes forward. Keep the back of the neck long, the breath full and deep. You guys, if you've lost the breath, you've gone too far. Right, so just push as much into the shape as you can today without straining in the breath. One more full breath. And release. Plant your hands down and press back into a rest position. Child's pose. Few breaths. So in child's pose, see if you can sense more breath in the back body. Put your awareness in your middle back. Feel the breath expand and open your middle back. And feel a sense of release with your exhales. Releasing tension, releasing expectation, releasing judgment. And just allow yourself to be here with each breath, feeling what you're feeling. And you can stay in child's pose, you guys, the whole hour if that's what you need. If and when you're ready, come on back to downward facing dog. Take a handful of breaths here. Deep, smooth, rhythmic breaths. In and out your nose. And we're going to lift the right leg up and back. So you're just going to lift the leg as much as you feel like you can, keeping the weight even in the arms. And without rolling the hips open today. So I want you guys to try to keep the hips kind of facing the floor. Stretch back through both the inner and outer edge of that heel. And continue to feel those upper arm bones spin away from the middle. And take another full breath here. And then exhale, step your foot all the way up between your hands and come into a runner's lunge. So you want your front knee over your ankle. And if you have blocks here, these can be helpful. They're not necessary. But some of us, this is a very deep shape. So if the hands come higher, it makes it a little more comfortable and a little bit easier to breathe. You can always stack books, right? No need to use the blocks. So inhale here, and on an exhale, try to straighten your front leg. Doesn't matter if you get there, just do as much as you can. Inhale to bend your knee, and exhale, extend. So again, linking your breath and movement together. We inhale into the lunge, and we exhale, try to straighten. So move with your breath, not with mine. Make your breath as long and deep as you can today. And feel, you guys, how when you straighten the front leg, the spine tends to want to hunch and round. I want you to straighten the front leg just as much as you feel like you can without rounding the spine. So your movement, again, might get a little smaller, but you're going to keep the quality and integrity of space in the joints. Yes? One more. You're going to bend your front knee and pause. And we're going to move into a twist so that left hand can plant on the mat. And your right hand's going to lift up to the ceiling. Notice your breath. You guys continue to lengthen and deepen your breath. And if you need a modification, simply put the back knee on the mat. 5 breaths in the rotation. Two more full breaths. And then both hands come to the mat. Step your front leg back into a plank. Feel free to put the knees on the mat if you need to. Take a deep full breath in. And on an exhale, bend the elbows halfway down. We call this chaturanga, and we hold. So you're more than welcome to lie on your belly and do that cobra on your belly, or a little bit more challenging, come to the top of the feet. Inhale, open the chest so my thighs are off the floor in upward dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. Breathing in. And breathing out. Modify if you need to, rest if you need to. 3 full breaths. So do what you can without straining. Do what you can without judgment. Do what you can without expectation. Just do the best you can and let the rest go. And when you're ready, if you're ready, lift the left leg up. And we'll take a few breaths in single leg dog. So flex 2 feet, really reach back through that lifted heel. Lift the leg as much as you can today without rolling the hips open, so the hips are level, square to the floor. Soften something. Do the best you can to weight bear evenly in the arms. You guys have one more full breath here. We're looking to create space. Everything we're doing in my direction to you is for you to find space in your body. And then you're going to step your foot all the way up into that lunge. So you can be on your fingertips, you can be on blocks, you can be super creative. I think that's our whole life right now, isn't it? So you can use pillows. Really feels nice. Books to create a little more space. So when I use props, I'm lucky enough to have blocks at home with me. It's one of the only things I have at home with me. Inhale. And exhale, try to straighten your front leg. Inhale to bend your knee. And exhale, extend. So your range of motion does not have to be all the way to straight. Again, you guys move and breathe. Go as far as you feel like is smart in your body now, in this moment, without holding your breath or creating any tension. So the farther I straighten my leg, the harder it is to keep my spine straight. I'd like you to try to keep the spine straight as well. Which sometimes we need to let, again, our expectations go and do what feels good and right in the moment. And then pause with a bent knee. So if you can get the front knee over your ankle, you will. You guys, if you need a break, you just put the back knee down. Feel the cobra in the upper back. So a lot of us here are hunching the shoulders, hence the American way. Can you pull the chest forward? And then when you're ready, right hand will stay down. If you need to put it on something, get creative. Left hand comes up and let's rotate the spine. Let's take about 5 breaths here. Really spread the fingers, reach the top arm to the ceiling. And again, if you need a break or a modification, the back knee can come down. 3 more breaths in the twist. 2 more deep, full breaths. And then when you're ready, hand comes to the mat. Step the front foot back, so we're back in plank. If you need the knees on the mat, you'll put them there. Take a breath in. Exhale, bend the elbows lower, halfway down. You guys can have your knees on the mat. So because my elbows are over my wrists, not back. Come to cobra or upward dog. Inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. 5 deep breaths. So if you guys are tired or not used to this work, you might have to rest. Please rest. Again, do the best you can with what you got. Two more full breaths here. And then bend your knees a lot. Look way forward, and you guys are gonna step your feet forward. So we're gonna try to straighten the legs and the spine. So again, if you have blocks or something to hold on to, sometimes that's a little easier for most of us. Most of us aren't gonna have blocks. So you can put your hands on your shins, and you're gonna inhale, try to flatten your back and straighten your legs. And then exhale, you're gonna fold forward. And let's do that a few times. Again, breath and movement. Inhale, flat back, try to straighten your spine, maybe your legs too. And exhale, fold forward. And again, inhale, flat back, lengthen your spine, and pause. So once again, a lot of us are gonna bend the knees a little more than we think we should. So our sit bones poke straight back, push straight back. And even if the knees are bent and you get a flat back, you're gonna feel more stretch in the hamstrings. Can you feel a little cobra in the upper back? So you guys, a lot of us end up here. Can you feel the sense of the shoulder blades moving in and the chest moving forward? So you're pulling a charm on a necklace forward towards your chin. Take 1 more breath and exhale, fold. Big inhale, stand up, reach your arms over your head. And exhale, bring your hands to prayer. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Stretch, take up space. And exhale, fold in half. You can bend the knees if you need to. Inhale, flat back, lengthen your spine. If the hands reach the floor, go for it. Exhale, step back to plank. Take a breath in. And on an exhale, bend the elbows halfway down. My elbows are over my wrists, not back here. They're forward. Inhale, pull forward and up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take 3 full breaths. Right, if you can't breathe, change something or rest. Deep breathe, deep breathing. Final breath. And then inhale, lift my right leg up. Exhale, step forward. We're gonna stay in that lunge position with the legs. And on an inhale, I'm gonna reach my arms up and overhead into crescent pose. So we're gonna be here for a while. Try to bend your front knee over your front ankle and try to lift your pelvis upright. So often we overarch the lower back. Keep pulling your belly in and lengthening your tailbone down. Do the best you can to keep the hips level, you guys. So often in these lunges, the front hip hikes. You gotta use that left lower belly and try to drop the right sit bone so your hips are straight across. If you're feeling any of these when your arms are overhead, you guys, if you're feeling tension in the neck,
Try to widen the arms, more like a V shape, and spin the palms to face back. So ideally your shoulders will drop and you'll create more space in the neck and shoulders. Hang in there, you guys. One more full breath in crescent pose. And then we're gonna lean forward over our front leg. And we're gonna do the best to come up and stand on that front leg in what we call warrior 3. So we're trying to straighten both legs. Trying is always the key word here. If you fall, keep breathing and maybe even laugh. I keep trying. So if you have props, you guys are more than welcome to use your props. This might be the time you get really creative and make up props. Books, you can stack books, you can use pillows. If you can be here without the props, you're here without the props. Right, not one is better than the other, you guys just do the best you can. Try to keep the belly button facing the floor. Try to keep reaching energy through that lifted foot and notice the quality of your breath. And notice your attitude. One more full breath. And you're gonna drop the hands to your props and or the floor. And you're gonna fold forward. Maybe that leg can lift a little more, maybe it can't. And take a few breaths here. So allow the upper body and the head to drop like we did earlier in the forward fold. If that means bending the standing leg, you guys, then that means bending the standing leg, yeah? So it's not how far you get into the shape, it's how deeply and calmly you can be in the shape. A few breaths. Let the head and neck release. Keep lifting the shoulders up. And take one more full breath here. And then step your feet together and fold. Inhale, flat back, lengthen your spine. Hands can go wherever they work for you today. And exhale to fold. Inhale, stand up, reach overhead, take up space, stretch. And exhale, hands to prayer. Second side, you guys. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold in half. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, step back to plank. Go through a Vinyasa. If you practice yoga and it makes sense in your body to jump back to Chaturanga, you have a strong Chaturanga, you can jump. Inhale, pull forward and up. So you're either lying on your belly or your thighs are off the floor. Choose wisely. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 deep breaths. So yes, challenge yourself physically, right? We're here to strengthen, we're here to stretch, and don't create more tension and stress. And you'll know that if you pay attention to the breath. So the quality of the breath is going to tell you if there's stress. If the quality of the breath feels stressful, there's stress, right? Feel a calm, deep, smooth, rhythmic breath, even when you're challenging yourself, even when you're working hard. Second side, you guys. Inhale, lift your left leg up to the ceiling. Exhale, step your foot forward. Find that one shape with the legs. So you guys, with the legs, if your 2 feet are on the same line, it's really hard to balance. It's already really hard to balance. Put your feet on railroad tracks. So make sure they're hip width apart. And then inhale, come on up, crescent pose. And let's take a handful of breaths here. So try to bend the front knee over the ankle. Try as you just do the best you can. Try to upright the pelvis. So you're lifting your pelvis up away from that front thigh. And sometimes, you guys, that means bending the back knee a little bit in order to kind of feel like you're using your core and not compressing the lumbar spine. Anytime we're in lunges, try to level the hips. So what happens here is my left hip likes to be higher than my right. Can I use my right lower belly and try to square my hips? A few more breaths in your crescent pose. Really reach to the sky, the ceiling, lifting your body away from your legs. And then lean forward, arms out to the side like airplane wings.
And we're gonna come into your version of warrior 3 on the second side, left leg. So if you wanna use the props, you guys, if you have anything, feel free. Right, we're gonna balance on that front leg. So ideally, my torso and my lifted leg are parallel to the floor. If I need to bend my standing leg to find that, I'm more than welcome. Notice the quality of your breath. Continue to lengthen and deepen your breath. And if you're straining, modify. Rest for a minute. And come back when you're ready. Few breaths. Just balancing. So you guys, balancing is a verb. It's an action word. I'm homeschooling a second grader. I've learned a lot in the last 2 weeks that I guess I should have already known, supposedly. So it's an action word. You're still doing it. It never ends. And guess what that means? You don't have to think about anything else. So just keep balancing. 2 more breaths. Final breath. And then the hands come down to whatever you can reach. You can hold on to something. You can get the floor if you make it there. Lean forward a bit. Try to lift your leg a little more and allow the head and neck to release. And let's take a handful of breaths here. Feel the shoulders lift. And if you're straining, you guys bend the standing leg a little or a lot. Right, get what you need without overdoing it. Last few breaths, find a sense of release, even in the effort, even in the sensation. And one more full breath. And then step your feet together. Allow the head and chest to hang. Give into gravity for a moment. And then on an inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold. Let's do that a few times. Inhale, flat back, lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold. Final one, inhale. And exhale. Bend your knees up to 90 degrees. So we're gonna try to get our bottom all the way down here in line with our knees. And then we're gonna peel our torso upright and come into chair pose. So we're gonna take a handful of breaths here. I'm gonna shimmy a little closer to you guys. So do the best you can to feel the weight in the heels as much as the toes. And again, with the arms overhead, you guys, a lot of us, if the arms are too close, you're gonna feel tension in the neck. So possibly widen the arms and spin from the shoulder joint, the palms to face behind you, so the upper back broadens and the shoulder drops. I know you're feeling this. Can you take another deep, full breath? And then inhale, stand up. And exhale, hands to prayer. Adding on, inhale, chair pose. And exhale, hands to prayer. And we're gonna go into another twist. So let's just all turn towards the camera so you can see. And hook your elbow as close to your thigh as you can get it. You can even use your other hand to get it there. Push your palms together and roll your chest open. Lengthen and deepen your breath. And as you turn your chest towards me, you guys, the hips and the body want to follow. So can you pull the back hip back, the opposite hip back? So whenever we rotate, we want to stay long in the spine. So you want to feel that itty bitty sense of cobra, like opening the chest in order to turn, right? If we're rounding forward, it's not going to feel good on the spine. If we can open and create more space, the spine will actually turn a little bit more. I know your legs are burning, hang out. And if you can, you're going to keep the knees bent. If you need to straighten them, you will. Unwind, inhale, chair pose. And exhale, we're going to go to the second side. So hook your elbow as high up towards your thigh as you can. You can kind of move it there with your other hand. Push your 2 hands together and roll your chest open. Widen your collarbone by putting your hands, pushing your hands together. And feel the cobra, the back bending of the upper back. So you can spin the chest open a little bit more. Notice the quality of your breath. Continue to lengthen and deepen your breath. One more full breath, you guys, I'm with you. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, straighten the legs, hands to prayer. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, straighten the legs, fold in half. Inhale, pull your chest forward. So you're either gonna step to plank or jump to chaturanga. Do not jump to plank. Do not land with straight elbows if you're jumping. Land with bent elbows. Inhale to cobra or upward dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. 5 deep full breaths here. If you need a child's pose, you guys take it. Notice the quality of your breath. And continue to lengthen and deepen your breath. In and out your nose. Feel the whole torso expand with every breath in. And feel the sense of releasing tension with your exhales, even in the efforting, physical and mental. And then gently walk your hands back towards your feet into an Uttanasana. So forward fold. Cross your forearms, let your head hang. And release the neck. And whatever forearm you guys have on top, switch it. So it's gonna be kind of the awkward way. And then just let your head, your neck, your upper back release. And if you're not feeling release, bend your knees a little more. And continue to lengthen and deepen your breath. Find a sense of release and letting go. And then gently drop the arms. Take a breath in. And on exhale, roll your spine up to standing. 1 vertebrae at a time. Stacking your joints. Let's go ahead and turn towards the camera. Take your arms wide and take your feet wide. So try to get your feet, your ankles underneath your wrists. Notice the quality of your breath. And we're gonna move into warrior 2. So let's start with the right leg. So we talk about the foot and knee turning out, and it happens from the hip. So I want you to think of moving your front knee, your foot and knee from your hip socket. So this right thigh bone is gonna roll out to 90 degrees if possible. So your toes and your knee are pointing dead ahead. And then you're gonna bend your front knee, if you can, over your ankle. If you can't, no big deal. The back foot can turn in slightly. So the back foot is gonna angle inward a small amount, so we protect the front knee. Arms reach, eyes gaze out over my front hand. And we're probably gonna be here a lot longer than you like, but I have a feeling you don't have anywhere else to go. So hang with me, why not? So you guys check out the front knee. The front knee tends to do this. It tends to knock in. So look down at your front knee and push your front knee opened so you can see your big toe on the floor on the inside of your front knee. And that's gonna keep the pressure out of the knee and the work more in the glutes and the hips. You have 3 more breaths. If you need a break, you simply straighten the front leg. Otherwise, you're still here in warrior 2. And we're gonna move with breath like we've done thus far. So on an inhale, straighten your front leg. And on exhale, bend your knee. Again, inhale, straighten your front leg. And exhale, bend your knee. So you're gonna move with your breath. You don't have to be with me. I have quite a long breath. Few more. Mindful of the front knee pushing open so you can see that big toe on the inside of the foot. And the next time time you're in your warrior two, you're gonna pause. So do the best you can to get the front knee over the front ankle. And again, if you need a break at any point in time, you'll take it. So as much as we lean forward, we often forget about the other direction. So stamp the outer edge of that back foot, that left foot into the mat, and pull back just as much with the back arm as you're reaching forward with the front arm. So it almost feels like I have you in two hands, your two hands, and I'm pulling them away from the midline. I'm spreading your collarbone wide. I'm spreading your shoulder blades wide. So your shoulders ideally stack right up over your hips. Stay with me. If you need to straighten the front leg, you will. You're gonna slide down your back leg, and we call this reverse warrior. So we're gonna take about 3 or 4 breaths here. Try to stay bent in the front knee and feel the stretch in the side body and the waist. Keep pushing your front inner knee back towards your outer knee so your hip is working and your knee is safe. Take one more full breath here in reverse warrior. And then we're gonna lean forward. Place your forearm on your front thigh and reach your top arm up and over your ear. So this is called side angle stretch or Parsvottanasana. We're trying to feel the space and the stretch in the rib cage and side body. Right? If you happen to have a block or you happen to be really open and flexible on your hips, your hands can be, bottom hand can be on the block and or bottom hand can be on the floor. Doesn't have to be. This is perfect. Take 3 more breaths, you guys. Keep stamping the outer edge of that back foot into the mat so you're reaching this top hand away from your back foot, creating space. Notice your breath. Modify if you need to. Inhale, come on up, warrior two. Exhale, straighten the front leg and turn the toes forward. Arms are still lifted if possible. If they need a break, they take one. And when you're ready, second side. So remember, we're turning the left foot out from the hip socket, way up here where the thighs lives in the pelvis. So ideally, my toe, my knee, and my hip are pointing to 90 degrees. And then I'm gonna endeavor to bend this front knee to about 90 degrees, meaning my knee is over my ankle. And if I don't go that far, I don't go that far. No big deal. I go as far as I can, breathing deeply and staying calm. So we're on the second side, warrior two. I'm talking to you guys. Traditionally, we actually gaze over the front hand. We kind of stare at the middle finger. We call this a dristi. So you get your focal point or your eye gazing point in one spot. It's a little more calming. Be mindful of the front knee, you guys. So as we bend, the front knee tends to knock in. Push the front inner knee to the outer knee. Squeeze the front outer hip in so you're feeling the work in the hip, the stretch across the groin, and you're protecting that front knee. Can you reach back through the back arm just as much as you're reaching forward through the front? Can you have energy in the arms and soften the shoulders? One more full breath here. And then we're going to start to slide down the back leg into reverse warrior. So keeping the front knee as bent as you can, try to feel some space and stretch in the side body and rib cage. Notice the quality of your breath. And notice when there's expectation and judgment. And let all that go and just be with what is. One more full breath in reverse warrior. And then we're going to lean forward, make our way into that side angle stretch on the second side. So my forearm's on my thigh. I can even use my forearm to push my knee back. And as I push my knee back, my body wants to roll forward. So I'm trying to roll my belly and my chest up towards the ceiling. How's your breath? Maybe smile? I miss you guys so much. I'm sitting here staring at myself. No fun. If you want more, you slide the bottom hand to the block or the floor. Keep rolling your belly and chest open. You guys have one more full breath here. And then inhale, come on back up, warrior two. Exhale, straighten the leg. Turn your toes in. Big inhale, reach the arms overhead. And exhale, wide leg forward, fold, dangle forward. Let the head release, lengthen, and deepen your breath. So if for any reason, you guys, this is too much and you're not breathing deeply or feeling a sense of release, you're gonna bend your knees a little bit or a lot of it. And just allow the upper back to hang, the head and neck to release. And continue to lengthen and deepen your breath. And then we're gonna come up onto our fingertips and flatten our back. So still in that wide leg forward fold, pull your chest forward. And if this doesn't work, you might wanna put your hands on anything you got. Take a breath in and exhale, right hand up, rotate. Inhale, hand comes to the floor. Keep the spine long. Exhale, rotate. Go up, up more than back. Up with the top hand, spread the fingers, widen your collarbone, moving with breath. Inhale. And exhale. Again, inhale. And exhale. Pull the shoulders onto the back, pull the chest towards the chin. Few more each side, breathing in and breathing out. Final one. And then coming back down into that forward fold. Let's go and turn the right foot forward, follow with our body. And we're gonna step back into a downward facing dog. And take a few deep full breaths here. Notice how this downward dog feels compared to that one you did, about 40-45 minutes ago. And then inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, step your foot forward. This time drop the back knee to the mat, and we're gonna come into a hip flexor stretch. So your two front hands are gonna come on the inside of your front foot. You're more than welcome to move that front foot out, away from the midline a little bit. And scoot your back knee back as much as you can. If you need to extra pad your knee, you guys use anything around the house, or just kind of fold over your mat. And just allow yourself to drop forward and down. So you've done plenty of effort, you guys, plenty of muscular effort. As we get closer to the floor, we're looking to minimize the physical effort and find a sense of more easefulness and release. So continue to lengthen and deepen your breath. And allow the hips to drop, right? So you're not trying to shove or get anywhere. Nor are you letting your body kind of unconsciously tighten and grip and resist because maybe you're feeling something that doesn't feel so fabulous. And some of us are going to stay right here. If this feels like enough, you guys, please stay here. If you want to add a little deeper of a stretch, you can use props or just your front thigh to bring your body upright. You're going to endeavor to bend the back knee and reach back with the opposite foot. So opposite hand. So your right hand is going to reach back and grab your left foot. Right hand to left foot, opposite hand and foot. And then I'm going to drop forward, take my hand to the mat, and I'm going to make it into a twist. Again, you can absolutely skip this part and stay where you were. If you're holding the back foot, pull the foot towards you and roll the chest to the side. Wherever you're at is perfect, you guys. 5 more deep, full breaths. Work minimally to be here. I know there's a little physical effort, but work minimally to be here. 1 more full breath. And if you're holding that foot, release. So we're going to move into a very deep outer hip stretch called pigeon. So from here, you're going to take 2 hands on either side of the front foot. And if anyone feels this in the knee, hang in. I'm going to give you an option. So from here, you're going to walk your front foot across the midline, and you're going to drop your knee down. So ideally, your front leg is at about 90 degrees. That's going to be really tough for a lot of us, so we might need to pull the foot in towards the groin, and then you're going to fold forward and rest your head. So if you're feeling this in your knee, get out of here, and I'm going to give you somewhere else to be. If the right hip is really far from the floor, you might just grab like a couch pillow or a block and stick it under there. It's a little more comfortable. So you want, I think comfortable is the wrong word, manageable. I don't know if this is comfortable or not, but it's good for you. So lengthen and deepen your breath and give into gravity. And those of you that this might be bothering your knee, you're gonna lie on your back, cross the ankle over the knee, and you're gonna do figure 4 stretch instead. So what you guys wanna feel is this deep stretch in the outer right hip. Notice your breath. Those of you on your back, let your shoulders relax and drop. And those of you in pigeon, the forward fold hip stretch, give into gravity. Right, and if that's not possible, find a way to prop it, right? Use a blanket, get very creative. Use a blanket under the hip, whatever you need. And we're gonna take about 10 more breaths. And you can truly work the least amount possible to be in the shape. So you're not trying to attempt to get into any particular shape or form, nor are you letting yourself resist the sensation you're feeling or where you're at. Do the best you can to release any tension, physical and mental, with your exhales. And do the best you can just to give into gravity. Those of you guys in pigeon, we often hold a lot of tension in the shoulders and the neck. So notice what's happening in your shoulders and neck. You may have to move your hands forward or widen your elbows a little bit to feel like you can get some release in the neck and shoulder area. And the last few breaths in whatever stretch you've chosen. And then allow your next breath to be a little more deep and full. And just sigh it out your mouth. And then we're going to get out of there however we can. So those of us in pigeon are going to use our arms, kind of press ourselves up. And we're going to try to make our way back to a downward facing dog. Those of you that decided to be on your back, that was better for you. You can just switch sides. Actually, we're not going to switch sides because we have to do the hip stretch. So everybody's gonna make their way into the lunge on the second side. So the left leg will step forward and the back knee will drop. Two hands will come on the inside of the front foot. So you may need to wiggle your front foot to the left a little bit. And find that hip flexor quad stretch on the second side. So if this is too deep for you guys, you can be up on blocks, you can be on pillows, you can put anything on the floor so you're not so deep. You can even stay up here. If you wanna go deeper, feel free to take your forearms down. And if you guys need to extra pad your back knee, go for it. About 5 full breaths in this hip stretch on this side. And find a way to work less. So let go of trying to get any deeper in the shape. And see if you can let go of any resistance and just allow your body to drop a little bit with gravity. If you want to stay here, you're perfectly fine here. If you want to make it a little bit deeper today, you can bring your body upright. Fish for the back leg with the opposite hand. So that would be my left hand to my right foot. You can also loop it with a strap or a towel if that's helpful. And then I'm going to sink back down into the lunge and I'm going to roll my chest open and take 5 more deep full breaths here. You're more than welcome to stay in the previous shape. Right, so do as much as you can today without overdoing it. You're overdoing it if you're stressing out and holding your breath. That doesn't mean it's not hard. We're looking to challenge ourselves physically and mentally without strain. A few more breaths. And then release the back leg if you have it. And we're going to make our way into that last hip stretch on the second side. So if you needed to be on your back for your knee, you guys be on your back in figure 4 stretch. Otherwise, we're moving into pigeon. The front foot walks across the mat and the knee drops open. I'm going to crawl my body forward and ideally, sometime maybe, I'm going to rest my head on my hands or the floor or a pillow. And I'm going to drop into gravity. If this is bothering your knee, please do not do it. Lie on your back and you'll do this figure 4 stretch instead. You want to feel the sensation in the outer hip, the stretch in the outer hip. The shoulders relax, the head and neck release.
And again, you guys, whatever shape you chose, work just enough without overdoing it. Right, so minimize all physical effort. And watch your breath as it comes and goes. Go 5 more breaths wherever you are. How much can you let go of right now? And then let your next breath be a little more deep and full. And open your mouth, let it go. And those of you in the pigeon, use your hands to help yourself up. And we're all gonna meet on our back. So let's all lie flat on our back. Take your 2 knees into your chest, round your spine. Just feel the support of the earth. Take your arms wide to the side and let your knees drop to one side. So either side, and let them drop all the way to the floor. And a lot of us are not going to reach the floor, so it's going to feel like it's a little bit of an effort and a strain. I want it to feel completely restful. So if the legs don't reach the floor, stick them on something. You can use a couch pillow, a block if you have one. And then head will turn away from the knees. And just allow the whole spine to unwind. Give into gravity. Notice your breath as it comes and it goes. So once again, you guys, not pressing, not efforting, not resisting. Just allow yourself to receive the space that the shape has to offer. Last few breaths in the rotation. And then when you're ready, coming back to the middle and hugging your 2 knees into your chest. And making your way to your second side. So both knees will drop the other way. Arms can go wide and head can turn away from the knees. If your knees don't touch the floor, possibly stick them on top of anything. Close your eyes and let the spine unwind. And just simply watch your breath as it comes in and out. And I think there's a reason that this Vinyasa yoga, this flow yoga, is so popular, and that's because it takes so much focus and concentration to move and breathe, and all these big, vigorous, kind of athletic shapes keep our attention. Right? Once we get into slower stretches, it's easier for the mind to run away. So your job in this moment is to stay present with your breath, with the subtle sensation. So not efforting, not trying to press your knees anywhere, not trying to allow or notice if there's a unconscious resistance. Allow the weight of the legs to be heavy and allow yourself to release tension. And final breath here. And then coming back to the center. Hug 2 knees into your chest, round your spine. And we're going to finish a few minutes, you guys, in our final rest position, Shavasana. So if you've cooled off by now, you might want to grab a sweatshirt or a blanket. You want to make yourself completely cozy. So we are going to lie flat on our mat. Spread out. Take up as much space as you have and need. If you have any discomfort in your lower back, you guys, you can use pillows or a bolster. So you can rest something underneath your knees. No need if you're not feeling any discomfort in the lower back. Super cozy. If you have an eye pillow, cover it. If you have a towel, maybe cover your eyes. Definitely close your eyes. You guys turn the palms up to the sky, let the shoulders drop. And just make sure your body is completely comfortable. And then take a final deep, full breath in through your nose. And then open your mouth, let it go. And allow yourself to rest fully here in Shavasana for just a few minutes. So
So Shavasana translates as corpse pose. So let everything go, your body, your breath.